up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Welcome into the Bottle Axiom on a Tuesday. About ready to get going, about ready to get this countdown on the down low. I'm ready to go. I'm waiting on the 3-0. And then you know what we do, we push that button and say 10, 9, 8, but I'm waiting very patiently for the time clock to tick. People just piling up as you guys are logging in. So excited to have another day with you guys. Whether you're in South Florida or Vegas, somewhere around the world, Russia, Latvia, Dubai. Okay, I see the 3-0. It's time to go. Here we go. Let's count it. Let's count it. I want to count it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, I'm the Count Dracula. 1. There it is. We're on the air. It's official. Hey, peeps. What are you guys doing? Welcome to the Vital Axiom on a Tuesday. Brown bag lunch, day 2 for us. We're passing out food to people all around our community. We give out a brown bag, like a lunch paper sack. You know, back in the old days when we were kids, we took those to school. My microphone is dropping. Let me see if I can get that up. And they're doing that today. My wifey's out there helping them, maybe drive or something. How you guys doing? Today is number 965. 900. That my patriotic colors? 965. I put out a meme last night. Go share it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I proudly say that. You say, well, how can you be a Christian and pledge your allegiance to a country? Well, it's our nation. It's who we are as people. And if we don't love our country, who's going to? If we don't protect it and stand for it? Anyway, how you guys doing? Bloomingdale. We have Bloomingdale in the house. Let me get some shout-outs because there's a bunch of people in here. Wow, I'm crazy. And good morning, Pauline. Hey, Mary. Ready to go. Mary's ready. Good morning. Let's see who else is there. I don't, if they don't say hi, I don't say much because they might want to be incognito. I don't know. Let's see here. Hey, I'm looking for, okay, so, hey, Patty. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Josh. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Dodie. Hey, Ginger and Stewart. There's a bunch of people. I said, who am I going to miss here? David, 965. David Morris is from Canada. And Bonnie's in here. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Trish. We got Vegas. How's the shoulder? We all want to know how the shoulder is. I've been getting contacted all week long from the local TV station. It's not really local. It has a fabulously huge footprint from like all the way down to Asheville, North Carolina, all the way down to Knoxville, all the way to Cincinnati. They want me to go on television, but it's expensive. Whew, man. One program, nearly $400 for a 28-minute show a week, which I know is not really a lot. Hey, Pam, it's not really a lot in relationship to like being on national television, but it's just y'all pray with me about that. I'd love to do that. And every day, broken shoulder. It's so awful to think about. Anyway, I'd like to do it, but it's just not. I don't know if it's possible. We take our Sunday morning service and edit it down to 28 minutes and send it out there. They've been pushing me for years, but it's just so expensive. Our budget doesn't really allow for it. I'd like to try it, though. But anyway, I don't know. Hey, guys, I love this old song by David Crowder. I'm going to sing it. How many of y'all been washed in the blood of the Lamb? I've been washed in the blood. Anyway. And so, hey, Lynn Adams, good to have you on here. There's Knoxville is in the house. I think that's everybody so far. Some more will probably jump in. Just say hey so I know that you would want people to know you were here. Sing this song together. I love it. Still trying to figure out how to use this new keyboard, but I love it a lot. Yeah.
Spotless
been washed in the blood. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I've been washed. I've been washed in the blood. I've been washed in the blood. Oh, thank you, Jesus, for the blood. I've been washed in the blood. I've been washed in the washed in the blood. I could just go on and on and on with that. Okay, I'll quit. Good to have you guys on the show today. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Have you been washed? Had your sins washed away? Either you're someone in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb. Yes, my garments are smiling. Have a little camp meeting down here. We'll have a little camp meeting down here. How's everybody doing? Good to see you on the show. And today is if you just got in, number 965. We're being patriotic because we love our country. We're talking this week about needs and talking about needs. And so we asked the question, what are the needs in your life? And then we're breaking it down into this kind of a weird discussion about, hey, what Jesus is it you need? Which one of the Jesuses in the Bible do you need? And we started yesterday by giving a list. And I just, let me back up and I'll kind of catch you up. So which Jesus do you need? And we started out with, do you need the fed 5,000 Jesus? That's that provisional Jesus, the one that provides, which is mostly the one that most preachers talk about. Sorry, I'm having that stuff today. And most preachers talk about that Jesus, the one that gives you stuff. And listen, I'm not demeaning that. I do not have any desire to bring that down. He's a provider. Jehovah Jireh, we sing that. Jehovah Jireh, my provider, His grace is sufficient for me. Jehovah Jireh. I remember those days. Whew. I believe in that. I believe in the provision of God. I believe that God is our provider. There's no question about that. But some people, have a one-dimensional view of God. And certainly, at least in my opinion, as we move forward in the church culture, we're more and more reducing our view of God to be even more narrow. That He's a God that never does anything but positive for us. That's all He ever does. And of course, everything that God does is positive for us, but sometimes it's going to feel negative. I'm just telling you that right now because it's the reality. And we'll talk about that. So I asked yesterday, do you need that fed 5,000 Jesus? The one that, they go out there and they're all hungry and Jesus realizes their need and says, hey, we got to feed these folks. He took responsibility. And you know the story. It's a famous story. Then I asked the second question yesterday. Maybe you need the woman at the well, Jesus. Now, the story of the woman at the well, we talked a lot about yesterday. You can go back and watch that show if you want. The story of the woman at the well is a woman whose life had just been messed up in multiple relationships that had failed. And she was trying another one, and it wasn't working, obviously. And Jesus just came in, and church as a kid. Can't meet anybody. Come on. And so she was in trouble, and Jesus said to her, look, here's your problem. I know what it is. I know what your need is. I know what your need is. Get this. I know what your need is. Not a dude. I made you, God made you to be married in a relationship, but the problem is He can't meet what you need, and you need to drink of the real water, the real refreshing water of God. So maybe you need Jesus to jump in the middle of your situation and say, look, hey, what you don't need more blessings. You need an outpouring of the Holy Spirit in your life. You need to take a drink from the well. She needed to be born again, of course, and then I thought about this one, okay, and these people are in the church. They might be watching the show. Do you need that James and John Jesus? Remember that story, James and John Jesus? Powerful story where they're walking along. Now, if you know anything about Jewish history and all that was going on, the Samaritans and the Jews did not like each other. And so they go past the town in Samaria, and they run out from the town and say, don't come in here. We don't want you. They knew it was Jesus. They'd already heard about him. Stay out. Stay away. So they leave and they go out of there, and these two guys, James and John, the Bible nicknames them the sons of thunder. They'd say, Jesus, come on, let's do it. Let's toast them. Call down fire out of heaven and just smoke everybody. Just burn them up. And Jesus says to them, look at that, I want you to get this now. Maybe you've never had this Jesus talk to you, but he certainly talked to me. He said, you don't even know what spirit you're of. What in the world? That's not what I've come to do. I've not come to torch people. I've come to bring mercy and grace so that they can avoid being torched. I mean, that's my paraphrase. And so I want you to ask yourself that question. Do you need that rebuking Jesus today to just kind of point his finger at you and go, dude, you're operating in some weird thing that isn't Jesus? You say, well, the Lord loves me. He would never do that. That's why he does it, because he loves you. And if you don't, it's funny how I've always been in church, and people have rebuked the devil when it was the Lord. Now, I tell you, the devil's been, excuse me, he's been harassing me, and I'm like, what's he been saying? He's been telling me I need to quit them cigarettes. I'm like, that ain't the devil. That ain't the devil. But, a lot of times we don't recognize the voice of God because we believe he's one-dimensional. He's just going to come and speak in a low voice and be loving and kind and say, what can I do for you? But in reality, the dimensions of Jesus are vast and innumerable. Then I asked the people on Sunday, I said, maybe you need the rich young ruler Jesus. Now, here's a guy coming to Jesus. At least on the surface, he's wanting to know how he can be saved or get to heaven or whatever. At least on the surface. Really, in reality, that's not what he's asking. Hey, Nicholas, good morning. And so he comes to Jesus and says, hey, Jesus, what must I do to be saved? And Jesus says, well, and this is funny. I've really loved the story. He says, keep these commandments, and he only names a few. He doesn't name all the commandments. He doesn't name them all. He names just a few, maybe the few that he needs to work on. And the guy says, well, I've kept all these from my birth. He said, okay, let's get down to the real problem then. So the problem is not that you need to keep commandments. The problem is that you love money. And you're rich, and you got lots of money. So unless you can get that worked out, you're not going to make it. And here's what he says to him. He says, I'll tell you what you need to do. Get rid of everything you have. Give it away to the poor. Now, most preachers would not preach that. Unless, of course, you're going to give it to them. Give me that offering. But they would never say, preachers would not get up and preach that. And Jesus said to him, look, go sell everything you have. Give it to the poor. Give it to the poor. Of course, the guy freaked out. You know why? Because he didn't want to hear the truth of what his real need was. He worshiped money. Money was bigger in his life than God was, and he proved it in this story. So maybe you and me, maybe we need that rich young ruler Jesus, where Jesus, you say, well, I ain't got any money. Okay, but it might be something else. It might be something you worship that you put in the place of God that you can't give up, that takes all your time, your attention, all your admiration and affection. And maybe you just need that Jesus to speak clear-cut into your life and say, hey, listen up. You are so off track with where you are. Then I thought maybe you need the lame man Jesus. This story is pretty crazy. His friends, he's trapped in a bed, can't do anything. His friends open a hole in the roof of the house. Obviously, they had a thatched roof or something, and drop him down. And Jesus says, take up your bed and walk. Maybe you need a miracle in your life. Now, the problem is that, a lot of us have been told that God doesn't do miracles anymore. I told you had a one-dimensional view of Jesus. He doesn't do miracles. I prayed, nothing happened. Well, it requires faith. Sometimes you got to pray more than once. Sometimes you got to go into intercession and fast and all these things we know that are scriptural. Don't ask me why. I can't necessarily explain to you why. I believe it. I see it. It's like somebody said to me, I don't believe in tongues. I don't understand it. Well, I don't understand the cross. Why did Jesus just give us a sin pill? Why did Jesus have to die? There's a lot of things I believe I don't understand. I kind of understand electricity. I've had a lot of classes on that kind of stuff, but still it's a mystery to me. It's amazing, but I use it all the time. These computers I'm sitting here, I know a little bit about code, a little bit, but I don't know. I don't have to understand everything to use it. And sometimes we come to God, we just got to come in faith like the lame man. Maybe you need a miracle in your life. It's time for you to stand up in faith and let God speak truth to your life. Maybe you need the Nicodemus Jesus. Now, Nicodemus, he came to Jesus in the middle of the night. Now, that's kind of funny, isn't it? He's kind of a sneak up on Jesus kind of thing. He kind of snuck up at night. He didn't want anybody to see him. He was a prominent man. He had a reputation to keep up in the community. And so he comes to Jesus in the middle of the night and says, hey, Jesus, what must I do to enter into the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus says, well, you need to be born again. I can't tell you how many people think they're okay. Do you know that 90% of Americans, something like 80-some%, say they're Christians? And then you look at how they live and what they do and what entertainment is most popular, and you're kind of going, maybe they need that Nicodemus Jesus. Here's a guy who's a religious leader, had no clue what salvation really was. He didn't even know. And so when he comes to Jesus and he says, what must I do? And he says, well, you got to be born again, Nicodemus. What he's saying is, listen, there has to be a transformation in your life. You got to go from darkness to light. Old things pass away. Maybe you need that Nicodemus Jesus that just speaks truth to you and says, hey, man, you need to get right with God. It's time for you to get born again. Being alive and saved will always be my miracle, is what Dodie said. So maybe you need that Nicodemus Jesus. The Nicodemus Jesus is the one who, even though he had all this religious information, had never been born again. He'd never really surrendered his life to God. See, there's a difference. You can have all kind of religion in your life, but if you've not given your life to God, hey, what's the deal with that? You might need to hear from the Nicodemus Jesus. Then I thought about this one. This one's kind of odd, but maybe you need the Jerusalem Jesus. And that's where Jesus is standing outside the city. And he's pleading over them in intercession. He says, oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how many times would I have taken you like a mother hen does her chicks under my wings, but you wouldn't do it. And I hope you're not in that place, but maybe you're in that place where you need a miracle in your life, that you've hardened your heart so to God that you need, that Jesus is interceding for you to come to him. I mean, maybe you need to hear from that Jesus, the one to have mercy on you. He will. Which Jesus do you need to hear from? I'll close with this one, and we'll pick up on this one tomorrow. Maybe you need to hear from that woman in adultery, Jesus. Remember that story, little woman in adultery? She gets caught in the very act, the Bible uses those words, the very act of adultery, the very act. I don't know where the man was, because it was just as illegal and sinful and wrong for him, but they didn't bring him. He got away with it, because I guess that's one of their buddies. I don't even know the answer to that. So here's a woman sitting at the feet of Jesus, totally in shame, totally in guilt, probably naked, in front of a whole community. And this is what's getting ready to happen, y'all. This is what's getting ready to go down. She's getting ready to be killed. They're getting ready to stone her. She is trembling, waiting for the stones to hit her. Now, this is all a trap for Jesus. But we're not going to deal with that part. We're going to deal with how Jesus responded to her sinfulness. Tomorrow, let's talk a little bit about the woman caught in adultery, Jesus. And let's talk about, maybe you need to hear from that Jesus, that one that in the middle of your sin and shame, the mess you're in, is there to give you mercy. It's an amazing story, it really is. And I don't know if you know this. Think about this as we close. Jesus could have stoned her. You know what he said, right? He said, those without sin cast the first stone. And the only person in the crowd that could do that was him. And he didn't. He showed mercy. Okay, kids, love you guys. This day is over. Number 965 is in the books. Tomorrow's the day before the 4th of July. I hope you're being all patriotic and loving your country. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then when I hear from heaven, heal their land and forgive their sin. Forgive their sin, then heal their land. So good to have you guys on the show. A bunch of you in here today. And share the show with somebody. Let somebody know we're here. Love you guys. Have a great day. I'm out of here. I'm gone. You're on the way. Thanks, Nick. You have a great day, Nicholas. Oh yeah. Let me just say one more thing. Thanks for watching the show. Those of you watching, I have a little policy. If you don't comment, I don't let people know you're here. I'm not sure everybody can see it. I don't even know if they can or not. Thanks, Bobby. Bless you, man.